Hello, Sin. Gotta make sure my arm doesn't fall off. I think we're good. Why are you not live yet? Haha, we're live. Okay. Hello, Spins. How's it going? Make sure the whole painting is in the picture. Sorry, I'm a little late. I was trying to get the doggies to go potty before the live started, and they were just taking their time. Onyx still did not want to go, so I might still have to take them outside. I'm doing better today. Got some stuff planned out. Worked on my sketchbook. It's right in front of me, not in frame, but I'll probably show it later on in the live. And then just planning out the next few projects. I got how much art can you make? As I knock everything over. Getting my prompts picked out for this one. I kind of broke the spine where the prompt was I was looking at. I should have wrote the page down. Oh wait, was that it? That was it. Haha! What that smell? What's that smell? I have an idea for this one, and I actually think I know the direction I'm going to be taking this book. So I'm excited for it. And I can't wait to show everybody. But getting my prompts picked out for this. I got my create this book. Gonna try to get a video out for that next month. And then I'm also working on one of Paula's books. So I have that in front of me. So I got some projects coming up, and then I have a political painting I'm kind of like planning out, but I think I'm actually going to age restrict that video because the painting's gonna be a little extreme. But um, I'm planning it out. I want to get it out, and I think that's the best way to do it. That's what art is used for, helping getting that stuff out. How's it going, Travis? How's it going, Illustrated? Happy to have you in. Getting my stuff all together and all my projects planned out. I also just picked out my rocks for my next video. I don't have any of them like done, but I've already seen what I want to paint into the rocks, so I got those rocks picked out, and it's gonna be a busy month. I'm actually gonna be very busy leading up to my birthday, which is in the end of next month. Less than a month away now. I'm excited. And also feeling very, very old. But excited. I am excited. I need to... Which one had the... This one had the color. Make sure I'm using the right color. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be... I'm gonna do my best to make it a good birthday. Yeah, I've got a lot planned out. I'm very excited for all the projects. I'm gonna make sure I have a good 2026 despite what's happening in the world. I'm gonna still have a good 2026. Do my best to spread some good feelings through art and help get out the bad feelings. It's the best thing that I can do. How's it going, Jay? Thank you, thank you. Have no idea what I'm going to be doing for my birthday yet. Last birthday, I didn't really do anything for my birthday. I mean, like, my husband and I spent some quality time together and had like a date night, but wasn't much beyond that just because I wasn't in much of a celebratory mood for the end of my 30s. It's my last year. Youngest millennials are entering their 30s, they're done with their 20s, and the rest of us old millennials are now ending our 30s. Well, some days I feel very old. Like, we just took down our Christmas decorations and rearranged a little bit, did some deep cleaning, and I was feeling that. Like, it felt good to get all the cleaning done, but afterwards I was like, I'm too old for this. I need to hire someone to help me move stuff. I feel like the music might be just a tad too loud. But then there's other days where I do still feel very young. Playing Pokemon every day helps with that. I'm going to live by that one. Every morning to my coffee, instead of reading the newspaper or seeing what's going on in the world, like the adults did in my life when I was growing up, I, I take an hour, hour and a half, play some Pokemon, wake my brain up, do some problem solving through the game, maybe catch some shinies with my coffee, and then I start my day. And I also don't have to worry about falling asleep like I do if I game at night. I start like dozing off while playing. No, you didn't tell me you broke your arm, Sin. Oh my goodness. How did you break your arm? I hope it heals quickly. Like, I've never broken a. Well, I don't know if ribs count. I did crack two ribs when I was a kid, and none of the adults believed me that I had broken ribs. They're like, you'd be in more pain if you broke a rib, even as I'm standing there crying, like gasping for air because it hurt so much to breathe. You'd be in more pain if you actually broke it. And then as an adult getting chest x-rays and they're like, oh, we can see you broke your ribs. A moment. I knew it. I freaking knew it. So I hope you'd like, it's not too bad of a break on your arm. That's gotta really make things difficult. We are all just big kids inside. Yeah, I fell back. Oh, you fell in September. Ooh. No, that sounds like the kind of break that's going to take quite some time to heal. Which is it your dominant arm or was it your I don't remember if you're left-handed or right-handed, so was it the other arm? I'm going to need to darken the screen because I still got to go up in here with it. How's it going, Rebecca? Sorry, I didn't realize I missed your message. Oh, that's well, you're getting some practice in with your left arm, but goodness, I hope it's not too much longer for you. That's got to be very difficult to deal with. Hope hope you have some help getting through your daily tasks. Nice. What are you working on, Rebecca? How's it going, Becky? I hope everybody is doing better today. Like, just giving them themselves an opportunity to process if you're seeing everything that's going on, or a chance to just decompress. That's what we got to do to stay sane. Oh no. I can write with my right or my left hand. I used to use both hands interchangeably as a kid, but that kind of like stopped as I started becoming a teenager. I stuck to my right hand. I got made fun of. Like, people told me like I was faking it when I was using my left hand for stuff. So then I just kind of like stopped using it and just kept using my right hand. I wish I wouldn't have listened to them because my left hand is definitely not as good as my right, but I can still like write, and uh, I could kind of paint with it. It's just not very good. So I'm right there with you. I do like, I did try for the longest time to stay ambidextrous, but kind of lost it over the years. Just the state of the world here in the United States is just, there's so much going on. Especially since I have family who have immigrated here, and even though they are citizens, they're also getting harassed. They're taking brunt ends of stuff that they shouldn't be taking the brunt end of. That's what's like getting to me so much, especially like older family members. That's the one thing I hate, is like some of these people with so much like hatred towards others are like going after the most vulnerable children, the elderly, and it's just like, that's the part that's making it really hard to like just not focus on it for a moment, is just all the vulnerable people that are being hurt. Spam! Welcome, welcome. I'm like off in my own little world and ignoring the chat. Yep, it is a skill you always have to work on, because unlike riding a bike, you will lose it if you don't practice with your left hand. I had it before, and I used to tell people I'm ambidextrous, and then like I tried it, and I'm like, oh no, I've gone too many years without really using my left hand. It is definitely not as good as my right. I appreciate that, Frosty. I have fun with it. I definitely feel like it is a calling of mine. Ever since I was little, I've always felt like this is what I was meant to do. Not a whole lot, Spam. I don't know if you were here. I listed out some of the things I'm working on for my next upcoming videos. Got how much art can you make? My sketchbook. It is. You guys have no idea how hard it is for me to like keep some things secret, because I want to just spill my guts over everything that I have planning out. Just like be a little excited and tell everything. I'm not really good at giving presents as surprises. If you can't tell, I'll get something for my husband, and I'm just like, guess what I got you for Christmas? And he's like, that's like a month and a half away. Like, this is like back in October, and I'm like, I want to show you what I got you for Christmas. And he's like, you need to wait. I want to be surprised. I am sorry, Jay. I've been in a couple situations like that, and the last time I did it, it was he was a Tesla driver, and he had his Tesla car, and he was like, as soon as he started bringing up that stuff, I just said, I'm good with our ride, and he's like, what? We're still like 2 miles away, and I just said, I'm good. Please let me out. And he's like, you're not gonna give me a bad review now, are you? I just said, please just let me out. You go your way, I'll go my way. We will end it here, and I will leave your review blank. And he's like, well, I need a review. I'm like, would you rather me give a real review, or would you rather me leave it blank? And then he pulled over, dropped me off, and I just ended up getting a different Uber. I was a little late, but like, yeah, I know it's a little harder for any kind of woman to say that kind of stuff because men are freaking crazy. But I'm sorry you had to deal with that. How's it going, official Sunshine Land? Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I feel I'm still like I haven't been doing regular videos for a year yet. That's coming up. I'm coming up on my year of doing regular videos, but it's still a little weird when I get told like I've binged your videos. It makes me all bashful. Oh, I don't blame you for not giving them a 1 star. People like that, so little quick story. I'm not going to go into details, but I was gay bashed when I was living down in Las Vegas. I was 20 years old when it happened. Not even old enough to drink, and I got left in the street pretty badly beat up, and they basically left me there to just waste away. Um, so I do struggle with PTSD when it comes to like in person dealing with those kinds of things when it's just myself. So if I'm alone in that situation, I totally get why you wouldn't want to even leave a 1 star because like this guy knows where you were from, wherever he picked you up at, which makes it a lot harder. So I totally understand if you don't want to leave any kind of review on him. As much as like I also agree, feel like he would probably deserve a 1 star, but you don't know what people are gonna do. They're just freaking crazy out there. So I one of the reasons why I try to be so like understanding of women, because I even though I haven't been in their situations, I know how violent men can be for just no reason. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I was caught off guard when it happened, so I didn't even have a chance to defend myself. But I do hope, Jay, that I have created a space where you feel safe here. That is my goal. I don't stand for any kind of bullying or anybody like kind of pushing harmful stuff towards others. I will be kind to everybody until you've shown me who you like you've given me a reason to not be kind. And then I'm going to match your energy. Just like where I get uncomfortable when I'm by myself. If I'm with somebody, especially somebody who's in a vulnerable position, I do not hold back. And then, like, I don't even care for my own safety. I will defend whoever I'm with, including with my life. I will defend that person I'm with. Yep, art keeps me going. Art keeps me going. I really want to ask you, Spam, secret you've been keeping for 6 months. But if you've kept the secret for 6 months, I don't want to be the reason you don't make it to the end goal. So I will respect that. But I am very curious what you've been working on for 6 months. I've seen some of your bigger projects, and I love your bigger projects. You give a really good example. I was walking one day with one of my straight friends. We were walking our dogs and just talking. He is a straight white guy, and I'm a pretty big white guy. There was a single feet woman jogger coming towards us, and I got off onto the rocks, like off of the trail. I grabbed Onyx and Baxter, pulled them off to the side, and I kind of like gestured for my friend to come over with me. Like we got off to the side, and he was just like, "Why are we in the rocks?" And I just told him, "I'm like, look, I know I'm not going to hurt her. She doesn't know I'm not going to hurt her. So I'm going to get off to the side, let her pass, do her thing, and then I can get back onto the pathway." Like, I mean, I don't like hide or anything. I make sure I'm very visible, but I do like I give way on pathways just to kind of like make sure, since this person, I don't know who they are, knows like I'm not going to hurt them and I'm going to respect them. He didn't quite get it, but I tried explaining. I was just like, it's just a courtesy thing. Too many men don't give way and get uncomfortably close to women. I don't want to be that guy. I know I'm not going to hurt her, but I still don't want to be perceived as that guy. It goes a long way doing little things like that. It really does go a long way. Jiminy Cricket spam. I that is way, way intense. I am really glad that you are okay. Thank you, Sin. Like I may forget, like I may forget, like in my own head, I know I'm not a threat to other people, but perceiving me, I am a big guy. I am over 230 pounds. I am 6'2". I used to work in healthcare, and I was the only reason my boss had to order double XL gloves, especially during the pandemic, which were really hard to come by because I got such big hands. I've got size. If you're in the U.S., I don't know what other size it would be like in Europe, but for the U.S., I have size 13 feet. I have a hard time finding shoes. Like I'm a big guy, and so I know I can be intimidating, which is why like I will like use that intimidation to stand up for people when I'm with them. Even though like in all actuality, I am a big teddy bear. Hit all messages up at the top. You see the little sliding bar next to the X. You have to click that and type all messages. I have gone into settings to allow her messages to come through. I don't know why spam's messages don't come through for everybody, but if you click on all messages, her messages will show. I am really glad you are still here, spam. That's I hope like the police stepped in to get you into a safer position. That some people just are freaking crazy in this world. And unfortunately, substances do not help their mental health. Good for you for sticking up for yourself. I've been, I was homeless in Las Vegas. I was luckily not homeless for that long, but I was homeless in Las Vegas, and that was difficult. In the 120-degree summer, it was August 2005. July, August, and part of like the beginning part of September, when then I got like taken in by a friend and started couch surfing and started getting back on my feet. But for a minute there, I didn't have anywhere to go and no safety net. So I really understand like how difficult it is to be in that situation, because once you're in that situation, at least here in the States, it is almost impossible to get out of it. That's why I have such a soft spot for the homeless, and I do my part to like donate help where I can. Because I know a lot of them, they're put in that situation and it's not even their fault. They just don't have a safety net. Oh goodness, illustrated. I'm really happy to see that so many of you have stuck up for yourselves, but it also just kind of makes me angry that you all had to deal with that. But that's why we build a community. Like we kind of get each other. I'm glad you were able to get the help that you needed. We didn't have anything like that. I don't know if you guys have seen like the documentary on the tunnel people of Las Vegas. Uh, I'm very aware of the tunnels. I've been in those tunnels. If you haven't, like, I think Hulu has a documentary on the tunnels of Las Vegas, and it's like a whole separate city underneath the city. It is a little bit of a positive way to look at it, Jay, but I still like. I honestly would just rather people not have to go through those kinds of difficulties in life. I get like some bad things happen that are beyond our control, and like there's not a whole lot we can do about those. It's just kind of nature. But when it comes to like other people, ourselves, like I don't feel like it makes me a little bit more mad, because those kinds of things I feel like could be helped if someone just like acted right. I think a lot of it just came down to like some people's parents just did not do a very good job of teaching keep your hands to yourself, treat others the way that you would like to be treated, and we would be in a much better place in this world. I had a little like I shouldn't say I had as if I owned it. There was a overpass on in Las Vegas. So it was actually near where like part of my middle school and high school days were spent. Uh, there was a freeway and it ran parallel to one street, and then there was an intersection here and an intersection like where the street went over the freeway. So you had the freeway running parallel to this street, and then here's this. It's if you're wondering if anybody knows Las Vegas, it's the corner of Lake Mead and Rainbow. There's like a bunch of weird exits and entrances onto the freeway right there. So there was a hidden spot like in the overpass where it met the dirt and everything, and I used to go into that like little crawl space, and that's where I would spend my nights. It was loud, but I felt safe. Nobody ever bothered me while I was there. So I'm not gonna lie, like I even though I'd been in the tunnels, I didn't want to sleep in the tunnels. They kind of scared me. They were already super dark during the day, and just at night made it even a little like even more creepy. Oh, the tunnels are real. What they actually are is the flood management system for Las Vegas. So Las Vegas, like any of the deserts in the American Southwest, they're used or prone to flash flooding. When the what will happen because we have the Sierra Nevadas, like if here's California, we have the Sierra Nevadas, and then here's Nevada. The mountain range divides California from Nevada, and so all of the water coming off of the Pacific Ocean in the clouds will build up against the Sierra Nevadas because they can't quite get over until they're like finally pushed over. And when they're finally pushed over, they end up like getting super heavy because all the clouds are bunching together, and then they just dump all their water like in different places or in Nevada, and it creates flash flooding. And because Las Vegas is in that desert, it's prone to flash flooding. I'm sure you guys have seen videos and stuff like on TikTok or thing like that whenever they get like their rainy season and then the strip will flood. It's because like you can't really predict where the water is going to fall because every storm is different. So they have a flash flood management system in place that tries to, as much as they can, drain all of the water underneath the city to keep the city itself from flooding. But like during the rest of the year, because that's only like a month that happens, those tunnels are bone dry, and there's a lot of people who've made homes and stuff down in those tunnels. And then even when it does rain, not all of the tunnels flood. It just the way that the storms work. Like different sections of those tunnels will flood, and it all runs down to Lake Mead, but not all of them will flood together. No, I don't think mole people is a proper way to call those people. Oh, so many of them are just very unfortunate people who've gotten dealt really bad hands in life. Like one of the women I used to talk to, she had made her home down in there. The whole reason she was homeless is because she had gotten cancer, but she had no family. She was in the foster care system, and so when she turned 18, they just kind of kicked her out. And she discovered she had cancer, and she was fighting this battle by herself. Now, she did have some state assistance because she was in the foster care system, but all of that assistance just went into the cost of her medical bills, and they weren't helping her with anything else, and she ended up being homeless because of it. And so she just made her home in the tunnels because she had no family, no safety net, nobody to catch her. And it's one of the sweetest people I had met down there. If I'm remembering correctly, I think her name was Yvonne. Yeah, that's why I have a soft spot for the homeless people in the United States because so many of them are just they're just been dealt a really bad hand. They're homeless and it's not their fault. But then it doesn't save them from getting demonized by so many of our politicians who just want to ship them off to somewhere else. Make it somebody else's problem rather than like, hey, maybe if we get out there and figure out what these people need, what is keeping them from being productive members of society, they won't be in that situation. And it would probably be a lot cheaper than creating detention centers for the homeless and arresting them on whatever fake charges we want to arrest them on, or shipping them off into like, I think lately they've been shipping homeless people to Puerto Rico. I'm just like, for what? Why are we sending homeless people to Puerto Rico? I really hope it doesn't, Becky. This is an absolutely abhorrent system. Although a lot of people in the United States are now starting to speak up, and I'm hoping it continues because so many are like, if we can offer like a $50,000 sign-on bonus for ICE members and give them all of these pay raises and all of this money to go out there and just completely mess up people's lives. Why are we not doing it for healthcare? Why are we not doing it for our teachers? Why are we not doing it for our communities, like our streets, our bridges, our transit system is garbage right now. So why are we not investing all of that money in that? If we keep getting told we don't have money for healthcare, we don't have money for teachers, we don't have money for schools, for our transit system, our power grid, but all of that stuff takes less money than what they just approved for ICE. And so I'm like, a lot of people are starting to wake up to like, well, if we have all this money for ICE and all these things cost less than ICE, why are we not putting the money in it? Yep. I really hope people don't let it go. I'm not going to let it go. Like, I absolutely need to make sure teachers are getting paid better after this, no matter what. Like, teachers in our healthcare system are my main priority. I'm going to be pushing because this isn't okay. It needs to be stopped. And to make up for it, the government's going to need to start paying teachers livable wages because our teachers make garbage money. Absolutely, Jay. That is exactly what it comes down to. Because that was, I don't think like the Trump regime kind of understood what they were showing us by forcing Congress to put all this money into ICE, because like I don't think he was really thinking about like all of the excuses they kept using of like, oh well, we don't have money to put into these situations for healthcare, for our transit systems, for our education system. We don't have money for that. We don't have money to help the homeless. Where like all of these things combined, like I was watching somebody on YouTube. I watch like occasionally I watch like Midas Touch, and another one is Internet Today when they cover current events. And one of the people came on and they were like calculating out what the budgets would need to be to like completely fund SNAP for food, our healthcare system, and our education system, and what it would take to pay livable wages and free healthcare. And it came out to less money than we are spending on ICE at this moment. And it was just like, where'd all this money come from? Where did all of this money come from? Although I will say, like, I saw one of the contracts that the ICE agents have to sign, and they, I hope it was worth it because they're not getting their money. The contracts that they have to sign to take on employment as an ICE officer, they they get paid out in little installments over 5 years. They have to stay an agent for 5 years, and if they quit before that 5 years, they have to pay all the money back. Oh, sorry, Becky. I didn't see your comment, but thank you, Illustrated, for answering that. So there's a lot of people now like waking up and that kind of like seeing that today, between yesterday and today, seeing like all this stuff of like people are waking up to like, wait a minute, you've been telling us for years we don't have the money to fund this stuff, and then suddenly we have the money to do all this, and it's costing us more than if we would have just originally funded healthcare and education and food and housing and our crumbling transit system. We it would cost less to fund those things than what we're paying for ICE. So why are we wasting the money on this? Although I do think there's a lot of money we're not going to get back. I don't know if like everybody in chat has heard what Trump did with all the money he got from Venezuela, from seizing the oil tankers from Venezuela, generated $1.5 billion in revenue, and Trump seized that and put it in an offshore account in Qatar under the United States name, apparently. But none of us, of course, can see this account. He's just saying that it's in the name of the United States. And I just feel like, why are we putting it in an offshore account in Qatar? $1.5 billion. And why is it not in the United States if we're supposedly the greatest country in the world with the best of everything? Wouldn't that money be safer within the borders of the United States, especially if that's money that's supposed to belong to the US government? Why does it belong to Qatar? That is one of the biggest things that doesn't make sense to me. And so many people are just kind of like brushing that one off, and I'm like, that is stolen money from the US. It's actually stolen money from Venezuela, but then it's stolen from the United States, who stole it from Venezuela. Right? That is one of the most bizarre things I've ever heard of a US president doing. I don't understand. $1.5 billion in Qatar? Why? We shouldn't have that money to begin with. It belongs to the Venezuelan people, but why is it in an offshore account? Because we have no way of taking that money back now. And it's just for his ego. It's just for his ego. Because one of the things that Trump, that really pissed off Trump in his first term, that started back in 2016, was, I think Family Guy touched on the joke, but ooh, this got to him so much. People kept calling him cash poor. He had assets that like supposedly equaled his net worth, but he didn't actually have any money. And so the biggest joke was that Trump was cash poor. And so honestly, I think he did that because of those jokes during his first term of people calling him cash poor. Oh, I've been talking to my other friends about like how, if this was a movie, how would people be taking it? Because like in the future, yeah, what's going on right now is absolutely going to be turned into stories. It's going to be in autobiographies, and they're going to be turned into movies. We've been like thinking, like trying to figure out like what kind of movie would it be, and what kind of things are we going to discover that like we're finding out so much right now just because like I don't know if you guys heard, this made me laugh. This was some good news from yesterday about Trump. Uh yesterday, was it yesterday? I don't know if it was yesterday. It's when I saw it. He had a press conference where he was going over what the United States did in Venezuela to kidnap the president. And he was talking about how they did it because one of the questions came up was like, you guys did this without any return fire. Like it was almost like they completely didn't want to fight back. Like they almost just allowed it to happen. And Trump was like, oh yes, we got this great machine, it's called the discombobulator, and it just knocks everything out. I'm not supposed to tell you guys about the discombobulator, but it's this great machine, and it just made nothing work. No phones, no electronics, nothing worked. Not his exact words, but like those along those lines. And I'm just sitting here going, we have a weapon called the discombobulator. First off, that made me laugh. That like we're naming our weapons the discombobulator. But then Trump, like in a moment of self-awareness, was like, I'm not supposed to be telling you this. But then he tells them anyways. Like I almost feel like the the military is feeding him fake information because they know he can't hold on to any kind of secret. He gives everything away. He doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. Everything is a publicity stunt for him, and he's like treating this like it's his freaking reality TV show that he had. And so it's all about the ratings. Everything just matters about the ratings, and having a weapon called the discombobulator, that's gonna like that will get people interested. That's gonna boost the ratings. Hello, Discovering Shay. So now, like, yeah, I'll just with the stuff behind the scenes and the movies that they're probably going to be making about this. I'm just like, I'm trying to keep myself sane and laugh at some of the ridiculousness thing that is going on by treating it like if this is a movie, what's going to happen next? What is the plan with this if this was a movie? Although if this was a movie, I feel like most people in the United States would recognize who the villain truly is in this. Right? Yeah. So I try to stay optimistic by thinking about like what are we gonna do after? Because this isn't gonna last forever. If he even makes it to 3 years, like I don't normally wish ill on other people, but like I don't think he's gonna make it to the 3 year mark. But what is gonna happen afterwards? And I really hope to like kind of go full circle. I really hope the energy people have about ICE funding it being such a big deal because it is eventually goes into the proper channels. It goes into funding healthcare. It goes into funding education, our transit system, and everything. I really feel like should be upgraded, as well as the rich finally getting taxed appropriately. Like I hope that's what my hope is for after all of this is that this is going to make enough people wake up and not stand for it, that we're going to end up getting the things that we have been calling for, so many of us have been calling for so long. Like that is my goal out of all of this. What do I want to see out of it? I want to see healthcare funded. I want to see teachers funded. I want to see our roadways properly funded. I want to see things in America, in the United States, become actually better. Yeah, I hope it's only 3 years. I last year they didn't hold the Miami's elections in Florida, and the way that they went about it kind of felt like it was a possible like test run of getting out of holding actual elections. And so they didn't even hold the mayoral race for the city of Miami. And it made a lot of people upset. I actually should probably like go back into that and brush up more on it about like what happened afterwards because there's been so much that like that made the news. That was big news here that Miami wasn't holding their mayoral elections or their city elections, and then just everything else kept happening, and then we never went back to that. So I do hope in 3 years, like enough people have woken up and that we are still able to hold our elections. But it's scary, especially with Trump saying things like to Zelensky, going like, "Oh, you guys haven't held an election because you guys have been at war." You say. Very interesting that you don't have to hold elections when there's a war going on. Because again, like he doesn't have a filter. He doesn't know how to censor himself. So everything he says either feels like a threat, which I think are the only true things he ever says is that they're threats, while everything else is a lie. His threats are the truth. His promises are lies. I'm not going. I hope I hope the film is treated the same way they're treating the American people. Make Harma come back and deliver. That is my hope with her movie. I saw that it comes out what it's the 30th Friday. Yeah, I think it's Friday. I'm so yep. Just whatever. I have no interest to learn about her. Okay, Jay, it has been lovely having you in chat with me. You have a wonderful night, and I will probably be on for a couple more hours. Try to be, depends. But if I'm still on, like, I'll be here. My next live is gonna be Friday, by the way. I think I'm gonna do another nighttime live for me because I had a few audience members from Australia pop in, and that was kind of cool. So like 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that'd be like what? It's 3 o'clock now. So like 5 hours from now is 8 p.m. So like 5 hours from now and 48 hours. So I'm just making that more confusing. um, what color is your axolotl? Colors play a lot into how I decide like backgrounds, especially like for my emotional state paintings. I go with backgrounds, and then based off background colors, I tend to pick out colors for whatever subject I'm going for. Since you have your subject first, what color is it? And maybe we could figure out a good background to help complement your axolotl. It's like if you have a orange tinted one, I would say like bubbles. Yeah, bubbles would be cute. Okay, Becky, you have a wonderful night. I hope you sleep well. So like, yeah, going back to the axolotl, if it's more like an orange tint, I would say like blue bubbles. That would help complement the orange and separate the two. If you have like a pink one, maybe some like plants, because green is a complement color for red, so it will stand out from the green. You can do like a bunch of seaweed or moss or algae and have the axolotl in front of that. And if it's blue, maybe you could have it like with a bunch of pebbles behind it, rocks and like river stones that are more brown, orange, and red. So that way, like you're kind of creating a separation between your subject and the background. So it's just a sketch. So you have complete free range. So I would probably say the bubbles, like a water scene with bubbles. That was the first one I came up with. That's my vote. I think that would be a really cute picture, no matter what position the axolotl's in. Since you're just floating in water, you could really be in any position you want to be in. I kind of want to do an axolotl piece. A different one. I have one painting, one of my emotional state paintings that's been inspired from an axolotl, like a cross between an axolotl and a skull for ignorance. But I really only stole the gills in my inspiration from the axolotl. Nothing else looks like an axolotl in it. But I did bubbles in that background, and it's yellow. I'll grab that so I could show you. So I used the gills from an axolotl, but then everything else is just kind of like based off of a skull. And I just used, since it's bright yellow, it's not a complete contrast, but I kind of shifted like the blue, a darker blue teal color. And then I did like a Prussian blue bubbles to help make the bubbles stand out a little bit more. But that variety in the color kind of helps the yellow pop a lot more. All the swamp creatures, yeah. Then yeah, absolutely, they're in water. That's right here. If you're planning on going with the same colors, I think bubbles, light colored bubbles, because their coloration is so dark. Very light bubbles behind them would work really well, especially because there's so many there's so much red and yellow. Like your brain is gonna process that as orange. The blue would kind of help stand out. Yeah, you my skull jellies. So the idea with this piece was ignorance. I kind of got put in my place. I don't remember what. It was something silly, but I had to eat crow and apologize. Like I was in the wrong. I just didn't know better. And then I kind of got inspired for this painting where like I thought I was doing something nice and cute without taking, was it Eric? I think I said something to Eric that upset him, and I was trying to be like cute and funny, and he then like let me know like, hey, I didn't really appreciate this, and so I was like, oh, that wasn't my intent, and then I kind of like thought about it, and I was like, it was just me being ignorant. I just didn't take Eric's feelings into account, and so that's why I created this piece, and just like this little guy is just off. He's just having fun, no care in the world. But all of the other jellies are very annoyed by this guy just because he's not taking their feelings into account. So that's where like I got ignorance from when I created this. And all my different jellies. I love the way they came out. They're so weird looking, but I really love them, even though they're kind of creepy. I do want to make some more emotional state paintings. I this year I kind of want to try to focus more on happy ones. The create this book episode really like hammered in how important it is to still like yes, honor the feelings we try to ignore, but don't let that cause you to ignore the feelings you love, like happiness and joy. So I do want to focus on some more like happy feelings this year so I could get them onto paintings because I don't have very many. They're all more of like more difficult feelings to process. Yeah. And these bubbles were actually like I hope I can explain it. I didn't really record this, but these bubbles were pretty easy to make. Since I did the teal background, the whole background was already there. And all I did was used my dark Prussian blue. It's just a dark blue. I kind of like swirled it around a little bit and then went back over with some white just to kind of like show where the top and the bottom were. And I think they look really great. It was a very like easy brush stroke. I don't. I think this would also be kind of easy to recreate with colored pencils. Just super super dark on the edge on the bottom. Kind of go a little bit lighter towards the middle. Leave the middle open so you can still see background color in it, and then the light blue to white at the top. I think. I think that would be really cool with your axolotl. I am very heavily inspired from surrealism. Official sunshine. Some of my favorite artists are surreal artists. What is it? Geiger, the designer of Alien, the movie, those aliens. He designed those. I was very fascinated with his artwork. And then another artist I really love is Francis Bacon. He created a whole bunch of really interesting surreal paintings after the Civil War, all inspired from what he saw, or Civil War, World War II, all inspired from like what he lived through and saw in London in World War II. Frida Kahlo is another big inspiration. So yeah, I do love my surreal artists. There's a special place in my heart for them. I feel like their art is so raw and so filled with so much emotion. Nice on the new computer. I need to make sure I'll need to make sure I'm subscribed to you after this. I'll totally check out your videos. Gotta support my artists. Every artist needs to feel supported. I'm sitting here milking this green. I could be doing a little bit quicker if I just mixed up more. Well, if I'm subscribed to your channel, then I'm ready for your next long video. I know I follow you on Instagram. I know that because actually the other night I got a notification from you and I saw your picture and then it on my notification bar on my phone it actually just had your first name and I was like, "Oh, I don't know if you're comfortable with that so I won't say it, but like yeah, I saw the notification. I was like, "Oh, that's her name. Okay." Instead of like I feel weird calling people like the first word in their screen name. But I also want to try to respect people's privacy and like not just give away information that they may not want out. I don't want to be ignorant. Leah, right? Okay, yeah. So it was you. I wasn't just seeing things. Yeah, I was paying attention. Like I do try to pay attention to my subscribers and my audience members. It's one of the things like I know it's gonna get harder if I get bigger, but I want to enjoy this ride, especially while I'm still kind of small and like everybody here. I feel like is gonna be like my core audience group. Everybody that's been showing up in my videos this first year, like they're the core people. And I'm discovering like from other YouTubers that I have spoken with, your favorite YouTube artists, if you comment on their stuff and you've been with them for a while, they absolutely know who you are. Even if they don't respond to your comments, because I know some people just don't respond to comments. Even if they're not responding to your comments, they know who you are. Like they see you, and one of the things is like they do take note when you don't comment. Like they do notice when you don't comment, and most of the time, like I actually just had a conversation with another YouTuber about this. Most of the time, it's like I hope they're okay. Like they haven't commented in a while. I hope it's just life being busy. But like your favorite channels, they notice you, and some bigger channels still notice them too. One of the people I was talking to has a much bigger audience base than me, and yes, they absolutely notice. And we do talk to each other about our audience members, and most of the time we're all gushing about you guys. Actually, like I don't haven't heard in oh well okay, I take that back. Every once in a while we'll get like weird people and then like we talk about the weird people. Like when we get really weird comments. Like, the weird guy that will just like randomly pop up in a video like uh I want to see your feet. That kind of stuff, like, yeah, we definitely talk about those people and like did you see this weirdo? But most of the other time when it's like you guys were like gushing over how nice everybody is in the art community on YouTube. Because we do see communities over in other spaces, like on Twitter. Ugh, I will never post my art on Twitter. Like, if you see a Twitter account with my name on it, I do not have a Twitter account. It is not me. I will never have a Twitter account. At least not in its current form ever. But I for the longest time I was just an audience member to so many other YouTubers, and I would comment and say stuff, and I always wonder like, do they actually see this stuff, especially on the YouTubers that don't comment on anything? And like I know they don't owe it, and some of the other YouTubers that I talk to that don't comment on like respond to any comments, just like and heart and stuff, they have reasons. There's definitely some stuff at play that they just want some privacy and just to share their stuff, but they do still take note of all of their audience members. They do still know. I love Chantal too. She is such a lovely soul, and I love the way that she engages with her audience members. I don't do well with Discord, but every time I pop into Discord, I always like have to stop through her channels, just because there's everybody there is so nice, and it just helps me feel a little bit better seeing like all the encouragement from everybody in her audience and just being supportive and helping each other. I do pop into her Discord. I know you've seen me in there, but I do pop into her Discord just to like get a little hit of dopamine to just see how nice and loving everybody is in her Discord. I need to get better with it. It's just hard for me. I get so overwhelmed with Discord. It's something about the organization of it and its channels. If I could customize it, I would probably use Discord so much more. But the current layout and how fixed it is, it really overwhelms me. I'll get in there and like I'll pop into one channel, but then like I'll see my other channels, and I know people are like, well, you can leave the other channels. I don't want to leave the other channels, even though it doesn't feel like a lot. I'm in like 20 something other channels. It's just like the whole layout though overwhelms me, and I really don't like it. I wish they would allow customization. If they could allow customization of changing like where the channels are first and how things scroll, it would just be so much easier for me. Because I would like all the channels are stuck on the right, like I know you can group them up into like types, like so I do have like some Pokemon channels, some other YouTuber channels, and my art channels, like they're all combined and stuff. But then like the way that it like branches out, it just confuses me. I don't really like it. I would honestly move everything to the top and have it drop down, and I think that would make it so, just that little change would make it so much easier on my brain. It's probably like the most difficult thing for me to deal with. It's just that silly little layout. I'm getting really finicky over these leaves. But this is like the midtones. It's like the core of this tree's color. So I definitely want to make sure like I'm getting the correct color I'm going for. I apologize if you guys can hear that. I don't know if my microphone picks up on kind of some of that stuff, but the plane going overhead. Honestly, that's one of the reasons why we started considering moving. There's other factors at play, but we're going to be moving when our lease is up here, and the airplanes are one of them. Luckily, we're not in the flight path for like domestic and international flights, but all of the personal planes, we're on the flight path for them. So we get them flying over our house all the time. And I'm a little paranoid about being in the flight path of I forgot what they're called, though, just the small personal planes. I wouldn't mind like it's not, hearing them doesn't bother me, but they literally fly directly over our house. Like we are smack in the middle of their flight path for landing. And they're not like ridiculously loud, so that doesn't bother me too much, the noise from them. It's more being directly underneath their flight path. Not that I don't trust our airports, but our airports currently do not have a very good track record. And so I became a little bit more hyper aware that we are in the flight path of the small planes, which seem to be crashing the most the last year. Yeah, and we don't have any fields or anything. I'm in Reno. I'm literally south of our strip where our hotels and our casinos are. I'm just south of it, maybe a mile and a half at most. Like, Eric works downtown, so we moved a little bit closer to downtown. We were like on the outskirts of town before we moved. And that was one of the things like we didn't even think about when we were looking at a place. We really do like this place. There's just some other factors at play that And as well as that, are making us lean towards maybe we should move. But we are going to still stay close to downtown Reno. But so we don't have any fields. It's all just homes and residential area with a little bit of commercial sprinkled in. So if the plane is going down, and we live right next to the largest park before the airport, and it's basically just a giant man-made lake. I wouldn't even say giant. It's like a pond, really. It's like a giant pond, and there's a walking path around it. That space right there is the most vacant space they have because like here we live if we live here, we have the park, residential, we have another casino, the freeway, and more residential between the casino and the freeway, and then the airport's right on the other side of the freeway. So like there's nowhere else for them to go. If a plane's going down, it's landing on somebody. I know it's just being paranoid, but I don't know if I want to be directly in the flight path, especially because like I said, I can look straight up in the air. I don't have to look north or south. Literally just straight up. It is directly above us. So, um, I don't know if I'm ever gonna like meet anybody in the city, but like I do feel like there are some aspects that are true about that show. I wouldn't say like the the whole premise isn't true, but like behaviors, there are some behaviors that are very like on the nose, scarily on the nose. That makes me laugh whenever I do watch the show because I'm like, uh, like, did they have somebody here? Were they like taking notes? But I will say, like, they were on location for a lot of the sets. I was kind of impressed, like watching it after moving into Reno because I lived in Vegas when Reno 911 came out, but then moving here and like recognizing places I saw from the show, I was like, oh, they were actually on set, like they were here. Although I will say a lot of the things that they dealt with, um, while like there are people like that live in Reno, for natives and the locals here to Reno, that's like there's I'm gonna get my friends so mad at me that live up there. I have friends that live here in this area of town, but there's a small town, just like suburb almost of Reno, called Sun Valley. We call it Spun Valley for very specific reasons because it's where a lot of the more shady dealings of town take place are in Sun Valley. And so a lot of the show feels like the people they're dealing with would live in Sun Valley. I'm probably gonna make one of my friends so mad to be like, I heard what you said about Sun Valley. But I mean, our local nickname for that area is Spun Valley for a reason. I used to go through Sun Valley like for a shortcut to where we had lived. There was a little hill range that separated Sun Valley from Spanish Springs, which is a suburb of Sparks. So like for our area of town, we have Reno. So like if the middle's Reno, we have Reno here, South Reno, and then Sparks, Sun Valley, Spanish Springs, Lemon Valley, and I think Golden Valley is a little bit further up. So like we have these little areas like all bunched up, and there's like a little hill range that separates Sun Valley from Spanish Springs, but there's one road that connects them, and I would always cut through that road to get to like Lemon Valley or other parts of Reno. And I'd always be like on my absolute best driving going through Sun Valley because the police officers in Sun Valley do not play around. If you are going 38 miles per hour in their 35 zone, you're getting a ticket. They do not play there. But I definitely think a lot of the people that the characters are based on outside of the police department in Reno 911. I definitely feel like they're from Sun Valley. That's like the part of town. If you have friends and family coming in, you absolutely avoid. There's no need to go out into Sun Valley. But my college was out there. It's right in between Sun Valley and Lemon Valley. I think honestly that's why the cops go so hard out there is because the college is right there too. Yeah, the I feel like every part of the United States, like every major city, has an area of town that's like that. When I lived in Vegas, Summerlin was the area of town that was like that, and Summerlin was the uppity part of Las Vegas too. But even though like Summerlin is a pretty uppity area of town and the homes there are like super expensive, there was still like another area just west of Summerlin that was even more uppity and more exclusive and more expensive called Red Rock. And the police like out in those parts of town, yeah, they didn't mess around. I felt like if you were driving through that part of town and your car isn't like isn't brand new, you look out of place, you're just putting the target on yourself. I had an old hoopty car, and I had to go through Summerlin, and I used to get pulled over all of that time. Wouldn't even get any tickets. I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I would get pulled over all of the time in Summerlin. Just made me feel like I didn't belong there. Although one time when I went through there, like it became obvious why the police were pulling me over because my car had been modified, and I didn't modify it, but I purchased it. It had already been modified, and so I just left it. Like it had a big old whale tail for a spoiler. And one time, when I got pulled over, and the cops came up to me, the first words out of his mouth when he saw me was like, "Oh, you weren't who I was expecting to see in the driver's seat." Like, what does that mean? It's like, oh, no, then just you weren't who I was expecting. And you see your license. And then he ran my license and registration. And he's like, well, you're fine. Was I doing anything wrong? No, you're fine. Just drive safe. Like, mm-hmm. I know why you pulled me over, sir. I miss that car. That was a fun car. I learned how to drive stick shift on that car. It was a modified Honda Accord. I ended up purchasing it for $800, and oh my god, I got like 60,000 miles out of that car. It was like a 92 Honda Accord, super modified. I got it super cheap. It was my work car. I was taking it all over the place, to trips to California, into Utah. But man, that car got me pulled over all the freaking time. It just had a target on it. I loved it so much, but it just had a target, and eventually I ended up getting rid of it. It was still running quite great when I sold it too. Honestly, I kind of like that was one of the few cars I regretted ever selling. Oh no, it's not legal. It's profiling, but like, how are you gonna fight that? Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna go let the dogs out really quick. Okay, I'm back. They'll come in when they're done. Oh, I just got your text. I see you didn't want to say anything in chat, so but I think you're still watching. Anyways, I got your text. I guess you're right. It did kind of. That is kind of crazy. This is like going way back in the conversation. I didn't see the text message till just now, but apparently, like the conversations, the things that are happening with our the lovely state of government in the United States sounds like the conspiracy theorists from the 90s. And it makes me sad that our affairs sound like conspiracy theories. I would say, like, I do try my best to research stuff. I'm not perfect at it, and I know a lot of the news stations are also can't be fully trustworthy. But I see you. I'm just recording with my phone, so like I didn't see your text message in the moment. Oh, nice, Rebecca. I'm glad I could help you. If I can share my knowledge and inspiration with others, then I know I am doing a good job as an artist. That is my artist creed, is to spread inspiration and be uplifting for other artists. I don't ever want to lose that aspect of who I am as an artist. I know we have very different styles, but I definitely liked the way Bob Ross lived his life as an artist. He was another artist that really inspired me. Bob Ross and Thomas Kincaid inspired my landscapes. Even though I went a very different route with my landscapes than Bob Ross went. He's definitely more expressive with his landscapes, and I'm very more detailed oriented, but learned a lot from him. When I was in kindergarten, I'm going way, way back on this one. When I was in kindergarten, uh, during nap time, our teacher would put on Bob Ross, and you didn't have to nap, but the option was there, and we could take a nap. Because in California, I know it's not like that here in Nevada, and I think it's only half day in a lot of the other places in the country. But in California, um, my kindergarten day was an all day thing. Like we were there just as long as everybody else. And we would get a nap time, and we could either go and read, and there was like a little uh, cubby area that was turned into like a little library. So we could go over there and read. We could take a nap in the middle of the room with everybody, or Bob Ross was playing on the TV. And we could work on art silently. The main thing, though, during the nap time was it was quiet time. Just like we had to be quiet. That was the only rule. We could do what we wanted for, I think, like 30 minutes. It was just like one episode of Bob Ross, but we could do whatever we wanted during that time, just as long as we were quiet. And of course, I'm sure you guys figured out what I was always doing. The majority of the time, I was doing art with Bob Ross. Remember, like now I'm thinking about my kindergarten days with Miss Pennington. Yeah, Miss Pennington. She became. Mm, I don't remember. She got married while I was in kindergarten with her. I just don't remember what her new name became. Although she allowed us to keep calling her Miss Pennington. I apologize for the vibrating. I see your text. I will get it when I am done with my live. That is another goal for this year. I do want to get a better camera. A better camera that I could stream with that doesn't have to be my phone. They don't do nap time anymore? That's so weird. Little kids like they I, I watched my niece. Like she needed a nap time. Like really, she needed a nap time up until like she was 7. Like I little kids like they need their naps. They need to get all their energy out and then they need a nap. And here in Nevada, they do half days. Like my sister went to kindergarten here in Nevada. Like I was only in California until I was 7, and my sister started kindergarten in Las Vegas, and it was a half day. I remember at the time being like upset. I was like, I had to go to school for a full day in kindergarten, and she only gets half a day. I was also still like young and being silly. The hardest thing was the schools in California were on the track system. So you would get like 2 weeks off intermittently. Like it was year round, and we would get just different breaks in it. And I got super used to that kind of schedule, just going to school year round and only getting off like a couple weeks here, like intermittently throughout the school year. And I loved that. And then going to school in Las Vegas, which is on the 9-month system, so we had summers off. And I loved having summer off, but I hated that like school was just non-stop after that. That was my biggest gripe is I liked the periodic breaks that we would get being on the track system. Ew, gross. As in kindergarten, getting homework? That's ridiculous. Like, kindergarten's supposed to be like, it's supposed to be the introduction to school. You're supposed to go easy on the kids, kind of ease them into what to expect for schooling. Hello, something else. I haven't seen you comment, so I just wanted to acknowledge you. Yeah, I was one of those. I do barely remember preschool. Like that's where my memories really start growing like kind of fuzzy. I remember it was a 2-story building. And they had a giant sunflower garden, and I loved how big the sunflowers were. And I learned how to make a paper plane. Those are like the main things I remember about preschool. But I do remember like nap time as well. Like, yeah, the kids would just kind of lay there awake. Not all of them, but like a good portion of them. Oh, and we had a field trip to a fire station. I remember that because we had to walk to it. And when I found out we had a field trip in preschool, I got all excited because I thought we were going to take a bus. And no, there was no bus because I hadn't been on a bus before, and I was super excited. Like, well, I get to go on a bus. And then we had the field trip, and nope, there was no bus. We just walked to the fire station. And I was really sad that I didn't get to take a bus. I remember that. Apparently that made a key memory because I was devastated I didn't take a school bus. I'm almost done with the mid-tones, and then I could go on to the highlights. And make this tree pop. I feel like that is a total little kid thing to be super excited to go on a school bus for the very first time. How exciting her first field trip. Like I said, I still remember mine. I do still remember my first field trip. Going to the fire station. And they had a dog too. Although that was another thing. I thought the field trip was a total like failure for like a little kid failure because I was also expecting a Dalmatian and uh, I think they had a German Shepherd. I remember it was just being upset that it wasn't a Dalmatian. And like that was one of the questions everybody asked was like why don't you guys have a Dalmatian? And the guy explained that was when I learned Dalmatians are deaf or hard of hearing. For like the breed typically is hard of hearing or something like that. And that was why they didn't actually use Dalmatians because they needed a dog who could hear if anybody was in a building, something like that. But I do remember like I wanted to see a Dalmatian in person because I'd never seen one before, but I had watched 101 Dalmatians like 50 times. And it was a German Shepherd that they had, not a Dalmatian. I think I need to go like right here, kind of help with the wrapped around look. Yeah, that's much better. I think like um oh, I I think they use them because there was just one famous Dalmatian that was in a fire station. I remember seeing something about that. I'm gonna have to look into that to like double check my knowledge, but I think it was just one of those things that one fire station had a Dalmatian. A picture was taken, and that picture just became super famous, and so now everybody associates Dalmatians with firefighters because of that. Because yeah, it's one of those silly things that we all associate, and to find out like most of the time that's not true. Because I'm right there with you, illustrated. Like why are they not, or why are Dalmatians associated so much with it? It doesn't make sense. The tree's definitely looking brighter. I think once I get the yellow into it, it's really gonna like it's gonna match because the color matches. I've tested it; it's the right color, but just there's so much of the low tones in it at the moment. It's throwing my brain off. Like it's not the right color green. It looks so different. Hello, Penji. Sounds like Dalmatians are big Chihuahuas. Onyx is that way. He's part Chihuahua. Actually, both Baxter and Onyx are part Chihuahua, but Onyx has got Corgi in him, and the only thing he got from like the Corgi aspect is the fur. He's got the really coarse, thick Corgi hair, but everything else about him, personality wise, very Chihuahua. Although he doesn't bark as much as like all of the Chihuahuas I've had in the past, but he's very, very attached to me. I am his person, and he is very moody with Eric. Dexter was kind of the same way, but he was a little bit more open. Dexter was, as far as I'm aware, full Chihuahua. Rascal was a little moody, but he got more moody as he got older. He was very, very open and close with me up until about 19 years old. When he turned 19, that's when I started noticing he wasn't as close to me as he was before. And I feel like that was just old age, like doggy dementia. But he did remember Eric. Eric was definitely his person, and he would wander the house towards the end. He would wander the house looking for Eric. If I was home, but Eric was still at work, he would just like wander looking for Eric. And I just would be patient with him, let him have his little senile moments, and then show him love. But if he was being grumpy, then I would just like, okay, you can be alone. I'm just letting you know I'm here. You want pets and you want love, and I'm here for you. I haven't thought about Curious George in so long, but yeah, you're right. There's the firefighter book, and they have Dalmatians with the firefighters in there. There's only one book that still sticks to my mind from that era of my life, and my husband makes fun of me all the time because it's a vocal stem. Uh, so like just randomly in the house, he'll hear chicka chicka boom boom. Will there be enough room? A told B and B told C. I'll meet you at the top of the coconut tree. Like I only ever read this story when I was in kindergarten, but that part of the story has stuck with me. And it's so much so that it is just a random vocal stem my husband has to hear. Right? Yeah, the chicka chicka boom boom. It's my vocals, one of my vocal stems, and I'll make him laugh. I'll be in like the kitchen cooking, and I'll say it, and he's in this bedroom on the computer or in the office on the computer, and I can hear him laughing at me. I really wish I could have cats, Penji. I'm just so allergic to them. I love them to death, and cats absolutely love me, but then I can't breathe. And I do like breathing just a little bit more than cats. Just not much, just a little bit more. It is kind of like a rap. That's funny that you rap it to it. Because, yeah, I've kind of turned it into a little, like, jingle. And it's just there in my mind. There are some random things that I have as vocal stems that just make my husband laugh. Like the opening song for Gumby is another one. Gumby, Gumby, he's here and he will be sure to stay. Gumby, and I haven't seen Gumby in for freaking years. And honestly, it's one of those vocal stems I kind of like. Can my brain just do away with that one? But Gumby's up in there. I am trying to think, like, what are my other vocal stems? I have so many of them, and I like rotate. But it's one of the things he likes the most because he's like, you keep the house exciting. I never know what you're gonna say. The big Lorax lies. The lies. I've only ever had one cat in my life. Little Spunky. We keep our husbands entertained. It keeps the marriage exciting. I didn't want to turn it up that much. Just enough that you guys could hear because all of a sudden got really quiet. I think I hit the remote. If you're wondering, this is the shopping music from Pokemon X and Y or Legends EA. It's actually one of my favorite little jingles from that generation. Every generation of Pokemon also has jingles that are vocal stems. Like the first generation is the bike riding song. I will randomly belt out the bike riding song. There's another one of my vocal stems. The Care Bear stare. Care Bear stare. Yeah, that's. Oh, that's funny. I used to have one from David the Gnome. I haven't thought about that one in such a long time. I don't remember what I used to do. But that was another vocal stem. I think it was the way his wife said David. I would just repeat it because my name is David. It's the only reason I ever liked the show was because David the Gnome. He was named after me. Oh, and what was the other one? It would come on right after David the Gnome. It had puppets. There was a blue jay. I think there was a groundhog. They're supposed to be roommates. Iggy the iguana. Oh my gosh, why is the show's name leaving me? There was an iguana, a blue jay. I want to say like she was some kind of groundhog, and I think she lived underneath the umbrella tree, under the umbrella tree. Oh my goodness, yes, under the umbrella tree. That was another one. Like I had so many vocal stems for growing up in my life. I just pictured you like walking into your room and dropping your towel, going "Care Bear stare," because that's something I would do to my husband. That was a very relatable situation right there. I'm all on board on that one. God, it's gonna bug me now that I'm not remembering what my vocal stems were for Under the Umbrella Tree and David the Gnome. Oh, it just reminded me another one. Bum ba dum bum bum ba dum ba dum bum bum. Uh, oh my gosh, now I'm drawing a blank on how the song goes. Ba ba da ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba. Ba da ba ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba ba da ba 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 ba. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. That's another one that I have. Like the gummy bear theme song is another one that's in my head. I'm glad I could share some laughs with everybody. How's it going, Jenna? Is it Jenna or Jenny? I just realized like I wasn't quite looking at your name. Jen, Jean. I haven't seen Ace Ventura. I wasn't allowed to see it when I was growing up. And then it's one of those movies that's just like fallen off to the wayside. I know I would absolutely love Ace Ventura. I just haven't had an opportunity to like. I mean, I have. I've had lots of opportunities. I just haven't sat down and watched it. But Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, they're on my long list of movies I want to watch because growing up, very religious, I was not allowed to watch a lot of PG-13 or any R movies until I turned 18. And so many great movies I just have not seen growing up because I wasn't allowed to see them. But Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, they're both on that list. I haven't seen either of those. Jenny, okay. I will remember that. I can remember Jenny. My best friend in the whole wide world's name is, well, Jen. So, like, yeah, that's a name very close to my heart. It'll be easy to remember Jenny. See, I know I would absolutely love the movie. I know I would. I just need to sit down and watch it. It's kind of like what's another movie? Spaceballs. Spaceballs. I quote Spaceballs. I have not seen Spaceballs, but I have seen clips that I will quote Spaceballs just from the clips I've seen, like combing the desert. Um, we'll make merch out of it. Those kinds of things. Like I know what they're from. I have not sat down and watched Spaceballs. That is another one I need to just sit down and watch. If I'm remembering correctly, aren't they doing something with it? Is it like another movie that's coming out, or is it a show? I heard that they were doing something with Spaceballs. If they are, I will definitely need to watch it before anything comes out. I Princess Bride. Uh, am I confusing that with another one? I think I just saw Princess Bride. That's the one with the star that lands on the other side of the wall, right? That's Princess Bride. If if that's the right one that I'm thinking of, yes, I just recently saw that. It was a movie. Actually, so craftastic. Maybe watch. I'm gonna double check. That was the movie. I can go into my history really quick. Oh, no, no, no. Okay. No, Princess Bride I have not seen. That's on the list. So no, I have not seen Princess Bride. That is on the list. What am I thinking of? I'm gonna have to double check because now I'm drawing a blank on that name of that movie. But that was like another movie that like everybody sees, and it's super. It's a longer movie, and I'm drawing a complete blank on it, and I feel really bad because I literally just watched it a couple months ago. Yeah, so no, The Princess Bride is I have not seen. Ever After. Ever After is what I saw. So Princess Bride is still on the list. What is another one that's on the list that I need to see? I need to actually like sit down and actually watch these movies. I'll get distracted. Like I'm like, oh, I can watch a movie. I'm gonna watch one of the movies from my list, and then I go searching for it, and then I'll see something like Steel Magnolias that I've seen like 800 million times, and I'm like, I want to watch Steel Magnolias again, or I want to watch Mean Girls again. I have seen The Labyrinth and the Dark Crystal. Uh, the Labyrinth was somewhat of an awakening for me. I do love both of those movies. I need to watch The Dark Crystal again. That is definitely one of the best movies from my childhood that I absolutely love. It's up there with The Neverending Story. And what is it, Bookmaster with Macaulay Culkin? That was another one that I absolutely loved. Page Master. That's right, Page Master. I liked the monster book. I don't remember any of their names. I need to watch that again. That's another movie I haven't seen in forever. Exactly, yeah. It is an expected comfort. I know what to expect with the movie. Page Master's like half real film, or like it's animated and not animated. It's a half and half. But it Page Master's a good one. I need to watch that one again. Definitely like another kid jumping into the story and everything playing out. When it comes to Disney movies, though, like I know my Disney movies. Those are the movies I was allowed to see as a kid. I know my Disney. Been to Disneyland a whole bunch of times, especially in my 20s. I got an annual pass, and I think I went to Disneyland because like in my head I spent so much money on an annual pass. It was like $800, and like Disneyland is about a 4 or 5 hour drive away from Las Vegas. So not like a huge distance, but it is still a drive, and it's through the Mojave Desert. So like it's still a drive, and I had to make sure like to get my money's worth. If I was gonna spend that kind of money on an annual pass, I needed to get my money's worth. And I think like we figured out I had to make 3 separate trips to make it worth money to like actually buy the annual pass. And I ended up going so many times that year because I was like, I have to make this worth it. 3 times is not enough. And I think I went like I was going like twice a month, 3 times a month. in some cases. Only time in my life I ever bought an annual pass for Disneyland. It, it was such an expensive ticket. It was like, this is an entire month's of worth of rent. Yes. I think that's probably why I loved it so much was because of Christopher Lloyd. I do love Christopher Lloyd. He is such a great actor. Wasn't he supposed to be coming back in the next Back to the Future? I thought I saw something that they were doing another Back to the Future. That's hopefully she grows out of that. I love me some Disney movies. They're another comfort. Although, like at the moment, I'm more of like, how can I see this movie for free? I've been really like trying to find where I could watch Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. That's been like the one on my mind lately. I want to rewatch of the Disney movies is Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. Trigonus, Macoides, Tricorum, Satus D. At least once a week at the moment. I've been bouncing around with times just because I know there's different people around the world that watch my videos and I want to try to make my lives available for them. But Wednesday, I think, is since February's next month, I was thinking about this. Wednesdays, I think, at this time is going to be like my average lifetime. And then I will switch between Fridays and Sundays for other times, just based off of what I saw people were available. Like, uh, I started this live at 2 p.m. for me. It's now 4:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, like, between 1 and 2 on Wednesdays for me, Pacific Standard Time. And then Fridays, I was thinking 8 p.m. And on Sundays, when I do them, I would be doing them in the mornings. I am still trying to make sure I can get my normal videos out. And eventually, I would like to be able to get my regular videos out and go live on Sundays. Oh, nice. That's nice, Jenny. I remember like I had my ins and outs with favorite cartoon shows. Nick Jr. was like my biggest one because David the Gnome and I think the first year of Under the no, that was on Disney Under the Umbrella Tree, but David the Gnome used to come on Nick Jr. And then like got a little bit older and like during summer vacation, I'm not gonna lie, I used to love watching Nick Jr. Gullah Gullah Island, Blues Clues. Oh, Gullah Gullah Island's another vocal stem for me. On Gullah Gullah Island, Gullah Gullah Island, Binya Binya Pollywog. Yay! Thank you, Jenny. The land of Oz is supposed to be like a dreamy, perfect land. Like I know, like when you get down into it, it isn't. But the look of it is supposed to be like this stylized, perfect land. So I'm kind of going for that kind of look, even though this isn't Oz. But like I really like that. Like I can see it. The yellow, it's a yellow pathway, but like a little yellow brick road. There's a little bit too much darkness there. I need to break that up. Oh yeah, if she's 7, like it will. All she needs to do is just be introduced to someone in her class that still likes Disney, And then she's gonna still love Disney. She's gonna go right back into loving Disney. It's the way little kids work. As soon as somebody in their class likes something that they like this person, they're gonna be all over obsessed with it again. I did that with Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles growing up. I loved both Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles in the first and second grade, and then in third grade nobody liked them, and it was like little kid stuff. Oh, little kids like Power Rangers, and little kids like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're in eighth grade. We're big kids, and so I wasn't supposed to like it. But then by fifth grade, I liked everything. I liked them both again because everybody loved like Power Rangers, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was kind of coming back. And then they fell off again, and then they came back, and then they fell off again, and then they came back. If you're wondering, Donatello is my favorite Ninja Turtle. Because purple's my favorite color, and that influenced all my favorites when I was a little kid. If there was a purple character, he was my favorite. Care Bears, Brightheart was my favorite. The raccoon, because he was purple. Purple has always been my favorite color, and I was a diehard for purple. I had one of those trolls, and I had a really big one and a really little one, and I liked the little one more because it had purple hair and a purple jewel, and my big one, nobody could find the purple one, so I got the green one, and I was very upset that, like, I was probably, 4 or 5 when I got that. I was very upset that I got the green troll and not the purple one, and so I always showed favoritism to the purple troll, and I always would talk to both of my trolls, and I would tell the purple one, "You're my favorite. I like you more." Oh, nice, Rebecca. I will have to check out. I'm not sure if I'm following you. If I'm not following you, just shoot me a message. Sin City Yeti, like you can share it with me, and I will check it out and then give you a follow. And if you're an artist and you want somebody to follow you, like, I will absolutely follow you. I will support artists. I do my best to try to like stay up to date with everybody's artwork and like it and support it as I can. So you ever want me to follow you on Instagram and you're following me and I'm not following you, just shoot me a message and I will follow you. I'm giving you all permission to send me a message. I'll support you. Because artists support artists. What, are you okay? Baxter's back on the couch whining a little bit. You want to say hi to everybody? Look at how cute you are. You're absolutely adorable. Oh, you gotta give us our little stretch. Look at you, you little hussy. You have such a hussy stretch. Lucky you're so cute. And there's Mr. Onyx. I can see you smiling at me. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. It's almost time, but you gotta wait a little bit longer. I can't say the word. They know the word. It's almost time for their DINNER. I like poking fun at him because he does. He has a little hussy stretch. He's just a yogi. It makes me a little proud though, whenever I see him stretching like that, because that was something he couldn't do when we first got him because of how big he was. He's lost so much weight with us. He's so much healthier. And I see him doing stuff like that that he couldn't do before. Although what's really funny, like the door to go outside, if it's cracked, like if it's cracked this much, he can fit through it just fine and he doesn't touch any of the sides. But he'll paw at it because he doesn't realize he's not as big as he used to be. And so he won't go through things that he fits through because he thinks he's still too big for them. It just makes me chuckle just seeing him like like I have to open the door all the way and I'm like, you're not as big as you used to be, Baxter. But I gotta remember, like, he's lost a lot of weight. It'd be the equivalent of a human losing about 150 pounds with how much weight he lost. It was a lot of work for him. And I hope like it extends his life for quite a while with us. He's still got some health issues we monitor. He's got some heart issues just because of how big he was, but I'm hoping with how much weight he lost, it will help extend his life for a very long time. No, he's not self-aware. It is very funny because he does still act like he's a very big dog. Like he's very apprehensive about being picked up, because it used to hurt him being picked up just because of how large he was. The weight it hurt when he would get picked up and the pressure would be applied on like his chest or something. And so that took a long time to get him okay with us picking him up, especially after he lost the weight because it doesn't hurt him anymore, but he's still very apprehensive about it. Yes, every dog I have had that I got has been a rescue. Dexter, Rascal, Onyx, and Baxter, all rescues. Uh, I got Dexter, Rascal, and Baxter from the Humane Society. Onyx came from a Chihuahua rescue, the Truckee Meadows Chihuahua rescue. He had been with them, like, and we tried to get dogs that had been there for a while that or were older, just because we want to give them a longer life. Eric and I, since we don't have children, we're in a position where we can provide care for older dogs and make sure they have a good life. And so that's kind of like what we do. Dexter was the youngest dog that I adopted. He was 5 when we got him. Or, well, I got Dexter first and then I met Eric. But Rascal was 10. Onyx was 8. And Baxter's 12 when we got him. 12 or 11. 11 or 12. So, like, I tried to get dogs that needed it. Like, Dexter, the reason I got him when he was a little bit younger. Wait, was he 5? I think he may have been 7. I was told he was 5, but I think he was actually 7, based off of what one of the vets had said. But uh, Dexter was like the youngest one. But the reason I got him is because he had just come out of. He was in a rehabilitation center. His prior owner had kicked him across the room, and it cracked 3 of his ribs and broke one of his legs, and he had been taken off the ability to be adopted while he was healing. And as soon as I saw him and I heard his story, I was like, he's coming home with me. He is never going to know trauma again. I will make sure of it that he has the best life possible. And he really did have a really good life. I make sure all of my dogs have really good lives. Actually, not just my dogs, any animal that I have, I try my best to make sure they have a good life. But we do kind of like purposefully look for dogs that might need a little bit of extra care or for some whatever reason aren't being adopted. Like Rascal, he had been brought back 5 separate times from families. They would adopt him and then they would end up bringing him back for whatever reason. And yeah, we adopted him for that. We're like, nope, he's never coming back to the pound. Especially because we were told like, um, if he's not adoptable and like he was on a list to be transferred to a different center, which it's a kill center. So when we found out like he was on track to be transferred to this other shelter because he wasn't being adopted and he kept coming back, we're like, nope, we don't care whatever his issues are. We will make sure he has a good life. I don't want him worrying about that. And so we got a Rascal, and then Onyx. He had been at his rescue for about 6 years, and he was a completely outside dog. And when we adopted him, he was covered in tree sap. Like, I know the rescue is doing the best to their abilities. Like, they were kind of overcrowded, trying to like their best to take care of all of the dogs that they had. And because Onyx had been with them for so long and nobody was adopting him, he had just been moved to an all outside kennel. And I was like, nope, he's going to come home with me and he's going to have a really good life. And then Baxter, we don't know what happened with Baxter. Like, we didn't get any backstory with him. Like, we tried, that we couldn't get any information out of them. All we know is he was double the weight he was supposed to be, and he had a lot of health problems. So we're like, he's older, he's got health problems. I'm sure you can hear him coughing over there from drinking water so too quickly. Sir, you need to slow down. I'm talking to you. He's got some health problems, and so we're like, well, we can take care of him. And once Onyx and Baxter's time with us is done, we will do it again. Just make sure the dogs in the kennels have good homes. That's exactly how I feel about all of my rescues. They have been some of the best dogs I've ever known. They're so loving, so affectionate, especially when they feel safe with you. There's just something about that you know that they love you. I just forgot where I was painting right there. I am probably going to be ending the live here within the next 30 minutes or so, just to give you guys a heads up. This is about the time Eric gets off of work, and so my plan is to end within about within the 30 minutes so I can get dinner started. Easy dinner tonight for us. We're doing spaghetti. I already got some salad prepared, so we're gonna have salad, spaghetti. We have some bread, so I might turn it into garlic bread. That's so cute. Dexter opened up to me immediately. When we got him, it was actually right after my ex's, we had to put Zoe down. So my ex at the time, Zoe was already with him. She was a rat terrier. I absolutely loved Zoe. She was the one that had complications from her dog food, Purina, and she was one of the dogs that had passed away from the big issue with all the dog food that was coming to light back in 2011 here in the United States. So it ended up rupturing her stomach, and unfortunately, it took her away from us. And he, at the time, was not ready to adopt another dog. I, on the other hand, after we had lost Zoe, after about 2 weeks, I had like put up for consideration getting another dog. I just said like I don't like how the house feels. It feels empty. I want another dog. He wasn't quite ready, so he was just like, no, I don't think I want to adopt. And so I had asked him like, well, can we go and look, and we'll just see if they have any dogs that we like. And he agreed to go and look. So we went to go and look, and he opened up to my ex, Dexter. He opened up to my ex first. I had instantly fallen in love with him as soon as we walked into his little like kennel, like his little shelter for the kennels, and I saw his little paw underneath the kennel gate, like opening and closing, like he was trying to wave me over to him. My heart melted. I was instantly in love with Dexter, and we asked to see Dexter, so we took him out and started sitting with him. But Dexter opened up to my ex like pretty quickly, and that was when my ex was like, okay, like this little guy's different. I like him. We can adopt him. So then we ended up getting Dexter. But then right after that, it was like Dexter knew he had to win over my ex to be adopted. Because as soon as we got home, Dexter wanted nothing to do with my ex. He was all about me. And so that was probably the nicest thing my ex could do at the time when we broke up. Like it was not a good breakup. It was quite messy breakup. But the only nice good thing he said was just like, I can't take Dexter away from you. He is attached to you. And so I got to keep Dexter. Okay. I will definitely check it out when if not when I finish the live, when I finish dinner. I'll totally check it out. I'm excited to see your axolotl. I will definitely have to like look for some of my old videos. I know I have more pictures of Dexter than anything, but I definitely want to show some more like pictures and videos of Dexter, Rascal, Solo. I miss Solo so much. I am really missing having a bird. I have had birds for so many years in my life, but losing Solo was quite devastating. And I know there's not going to ever be another bird like her. Birds are very, like, they all have very unique personalities. Even from the same species, they've got very unique personalities. So I really miss her, but I do want to get another bird. She was a little lovebird, very attached to me. She had a very long life, though. She lived to be 22, which is, from what I've been told, quite well for a lovebird. If I could have my way, though, there is one bird I want. And I've been watching this one bird has been up for adoption for the last couple of years. The current owner does not want to just give this bird up, which I understand. But it's an emerald toucanet. And it is a toucan. And I absolutely love this bird so much. I would also adopt my bird, like that's the thing. But toucans and toucanets are a lot of work. They are very high maintenance birds. As much as I want to get one, I it is something I would absolutely need to prepare for. It's one of the reasons why the bird has been up for adoption for, oh gosh, like 7 years. This, I think the bird has been waiting 7 years. Because we were looking at this toucanet, or this toucanet for before Solo ever passed away. Eric had brought up like, would you get another bird when like after Solo, and we were looking him up, and that was when I discovered this toucanet. It's in California up for adoption, so I would actually have to travel to go and get it. No, it's a toucanet. I don't think they can talk, but they like they can close it, open and close their beaks and make like this weird banging noise. But they're a lot smaller. Like toucans, like a toucan would be about like this big with the beak coming out. They're pretty decent birds. Toucanets are a little bit smaller beak. They can't talk. Solo is a lovebird, which is a type of parrot. Parrots can talk, and there's a lot of lovebirds that can talk. Solo never tried it, as far as I'm aware. She didn't, but she did make a lot of different noises. Always just making noises and singing off to herself. You can absolutely illustrated do or Leah. You can absolutely do what I've been helping one of my best friends with. I don't know if you're still watching, but yes, I'm talking about you. She was absolutely deathly afraid of spiders. And I totally understand why she's deathly afraid of spiders. And she still does have a fear of spiders. However, was just helping her learn about spiders, just what kinds of spiders are here in the desert, that live in our area, which ones are the ones that like you really need to be aware of, because we do have like very venomous spiders in our area. So like that's one of the things I was helping her with. I was just like, not every spider's bad. There are some good spiders. We just got to learn about them. And so like just kind of helping her learn about them kind of helped her with her fear. And it's okay to like, I have lots of friends who are afraid of birds, but when you're afraid of something, I feel like the best way to combat your fear is to learn about it. The more you know about something, the less scary it seems. And birds, like I know so many of us just like look at birds and like, oh, it's just a bird. Birds are all the same, but they're so diverse. They're kind of like mammals. Like, there's so many different kinds of mammals out in the world, and they look so different. Birds are like that as well. We just don't see it as much because it's a totally just different branch of the animal kingdom. It's kind of like fish. Everybody looks at a fish and like, oh, it's just a fish. The fish are the same, but that's another super diverse group of animals. There's just so many different kinds. And so whatever you're scared of, if you learn about them and like all the different kinds that are out there in the world, it will make you a little less fearful of them because you have a better understanding of them. And with birds, I would honestly just start with the birds in your area. Learn what kind of birds live in your area or migrate through your area. Which ones spend their entire year in your area, and which ones, will either head south or head north up to you, depending on the season. And who knows, they could inspire your art too. Because I do think birds are such a fun subject to create. But I also think bugs are too. So I totally get it if you don't want to, just because like I can be a little weird. It's starting to get into the lighter of my midtones. And I don't want to go super crazy with the midtones, but I think next time I'm going to be able to go right into the highlights. And that was my goal. I at least wanted to get all of the midtones done. Okay, fair enough. Scariest moment I ever had with a bird, you totally just reminded me. A few years back, I was driving on the freeway. I was on my way to work. This was when I worked night shift, so it was like evening time. And I was getting onto the freeway. Hadn't quite got up to freeway speeds, but I was getting onto the freeway and I had my windows down when a bird flew into the car and like crashed into my face and was freaking out inside of the car. And I'm just like, what the hell just happened? No idea that it was a bird. At first I thought like a bag had flown, like got sucked into the window, but it was still flapping around. And I'm like trying to not crash the car because I just had a bird fly into my car while I was driving. And then as soon as I stopped, it just flew right out the window. And I'm like, you caused all of that for nothing. I don't even get any kind of like payoff with you. You literally flew in here, crashed into my face, and then flew right out. So yeah. That's my scariest experience with a bird. I could totally relate with them flying towards your face. That is not something I ever expected to happen with the windows down in my car. And I also don't blame you. Like Solo, she was very sexist. I loved her to death, but she was a sexist little bird. She absolutely hated women. And I don't know if it was more of like if she was bonded to me in a way where she thought I was her mate, or if she was traumatized from a woman in her life, but she just hated women. She loved me. She would like preen me and do all of the things that she like would do with other birds. I would socialize with her a lot. But the moment I would bring like a female friend of mine or my mom would come in, she did like, yeah, she would attack them. I always had to keep her cage, like I never closed and locked her cage unless I had a woman coming over, and then her cage would get locked and it would make her super upset. But I'm like, I can't trust you. You're a demon bird. You're a little terrorist and you're going to attack them. And I can't have you attacking people. She couldn't do much damage because she was just a little lovebird, but her little bites could still hurt. And they could draw blood. I had to just keep her locked up. I actually could probably look up what day that actually happened. I totally had made a post on Facebook about it because I was just like, holy crap! I was attacked by a bird on the freeway. I don't use my Facebook anymore though. Like, eventually I'm gonna end up just closing my account. Facebook makes me so angry. And I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. I'm dealing with enough of the real world. I don't need to deal with Facebook. I mean, I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do kind of still use my Facebook, but not my like personal Facebook. I have a Sin City Yeti page, but it's like connected to my Instagram, and that's the whole reason I didn't delete my Facebook was because it's connected to my Instagram in a way that I can't delete my Facebook because of that page. And so I just have my Instagram connected to it. So whenever I post something on Instagram, it automatically posts to that Facebook page, but I don't ever check it. It's just there. I should probably check it, like, just to see how it's doing. But I don't have the app anymore. I deleted the app off my phone. It's just not a good place for me. It just makes me angry. The news does a good enough job of that. Okay, I'm gonna end in about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 10, like 12, 10 minute mark, just to keep you guys up, aware and up to date with what's happening, what my plan is. I kind of like this 3 hour model for painting. It's enough time that I could get some work done on my painting without being too long, where like without it starting to hurt that I'm not moving around. Because the first thing I always do after my lives is I immediately go take a little walk and stretch. All right, Leah, you do the same thing. Enjoy your dinner. I'll be making mine here soon, and my life's gonna be ending here shortly. And I will make an announcement for my next one because I am planning one on Friday. But if you're in Oklahoma, I think that's gonna be like starting at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So that might be a little too late for you, but I will have another one next week. Yeah, I'm starting to get into the highlights. Not quite highlight level on these greens, but it's almost there. Just filling it in. Boop 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 boop. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da. I am definitely a Gen 1er for those who know Pokemon. I mean, not like hardcore Gen 1er, but I've been with Pokemon since Gen 1. The Gen 1 songs will always. There's no escaping my love for them. Plus, I actually think in Let's Go Pikachu, I spent the most amount of time in Mount Moon trying to find a shiny Paris. So this song is like way ingrained in my skull. Same with Lavender Town. That's a little too watery. I keep mixing in just a little bit more of this I think it's olive green, or no, green gold. That's the color. I keep mixing in just a little bit more each time I'm adding in new leaves, and now we're starting to get into like highlight area. And what I'm going to end up doing for the highlights is I'm going to be taking just green gold, because this is green gold and Hooker's green. Yeah, Hooker's green. Which Hooker's green was for the low lights, and then I mixed green gold and Hooker's green for the midtones, and then I'm going to be going from green gold into cadmium yellow for the highlights. So that's to match these trees in the background, if you were just wondering. And I've been slowly adding in just a little bit more green gold at a time as I'm going through and adding these leaves. It's looking full. I have a little bit of areas like one right over here that just seems a little too dark. But that's when I know like I'll be ready to go into the highlights. Well, I will see you then, probably. I will, like I said, I'll make an announcement and I will set the timer. Sorry, I missed your message. What I really need to do is start like making noticeable areas for where to really stick these highlights. I know you know it's almost time. Give me like 5 more minutes. Can you do that, or are you gonna be pushy? Don't start snorting at me, or now you're caught. No, 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 making yourself sick. Someone's getting a little antsy for their dinner. They're trying to push me to feed them earlier than normal. Well, Baxter is, to be specific, because he loves his food. Even with him losing as much weight as he lost, he loves his food. He's very food motivated. I think it's actually like starting to get into that highlight area. I think we might officially be out of the midtones. Just looking at the way the colors are playing with each other. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm ending at the perfect time because Eric's just got home, which means the dogs are going to start going crazy. And I'm moving into the highlights. So I think this is a good place to stop. Because it's going to get really loud, and I don't want to blow out anybody's eardrums that might be listening on headphones. So I am going to go ahead and end it here. I hope you all had fun with me. I really enjoyed talking with you guys, keeping me company while I painted. Yeah. So I hope you all stay safe out there. Please don't get lost, don't get stolen, all that good stuff. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye, you beautiful people.